Hey everybody, today we're going to be doing an ABS auto bleed, and we're going to be using the motive power bleeder to simulate us pressing on the brake pedal. Stick around, this one's a little different than my other brake bleed video. Well, this is the Foxwell scan tool that I got. It's the Foxwell NT630 ABS and airbag reset tool. Gets pretty detailed. I haven't gone through this. I've learned just enough to be able to do the ABS. But you know, as I'll show in the video, this can do quite a bit. It's got the OBD2 plug and USB. Comes with another USB storage. I don't remember if it comes with the SD card or not, but it needs one if it doesn't. And yeah, powered by the powered by the OBD, so no batteries needed, so that's great. It's always good. If you want to check it out, I'll see if I can put a link in the description for it, and hopefully maybe you guys can pick one up if you need one. It was cheap. I think it's like $130, but this one was the only one that I found that could modulate my ABS valve. Everything else was like, you know, Snap-on and original GM quality, and well, I don't have $2,000 or more to spend on one of those. So this did the job, and I like it. It does more than just regular diagnostic codes. This one will operate the ABS module. It can calibrate electric steering, and there's a bunch of other goodies it does. It updates regularly through the internet. It's got a memory card, and ties into the OBD2 down there. So I already did the front, and now I'm going to show you the back. This is a little different, and I think it's because it's going through the ABS module. The service manual says to start with the right rear brake when bleeding. Because this is doing the manipulation of the spool valves in the ABS module, I have to go by what this says, and it started with left front and then went to the right front. And now it's in pause mode, waiting for me to get the rear part of the car ready, which it is. So just like before on my previous video, gotta take these little caps off. Now on the ZL1, you have a inboard and an outboard bleeder screw. You're always gonna start with the inboard to pull the air through the brake line, and then the second one is gonna be from this one. This one's gonna be last, and it's just gonna push the brake fluid from one side to the other. As I said before, when you take off your hose from here, be sure to wipe it and then spray it down with the little brake cleaner, because that brake fluid eats through paint, and it only takes a couple seconds to start to discolor it. You can see my master cylinder there. The motive is actually screwed into the top. The hose is going to the top, and it pressurizes it. I have the rags on the bottom and the rag over the top in case that thing blows off. This is pressurized with 25 to 30 psi, and that is according to the service manual, so this is okay to do on the car. Right now it's about 28 because I haven't pumped it up yet, and it looks like I need to add some more fluid. Don't want that to go dry. All right, for this fluid change, once again I'm using the Castro .4 brake fluid, and .3, .4. .4 is a little bit higher temp. Don't use .5 unless your system calls for it. .5 is silicone or can be some kind of blend. Stay away from that because they are not compatible. So I loosen the top very gently until it let the air leak out. I'm just going to dump this in. Now that we put another quart of the brake fluid in, cap was tight. We went ahead and pumped it up to 30 psi. That's going to give us the pressure as if we had another person pressing on the brake pedal. Let's go over to the right rear wheel, which is the third wheel I'm doing in this procedure, and I'll show you how I set it up. So, no, that's not beer, that's brake fluid. And this is just a water bottle, and I just put a hole in it with a little breather hole. And I got some poly tubing. This is 5/16 OD, 3/16 ID, and it fits nice and snug on that bleeder screw. So now that that's pumped up, we can take our 11 millimeter and loosen that, but we're not going to do it yet because we have to follow the instructions on the tool. So right now it says prepare to bleed air from the right rear wheel. When ready to start the right rear wheel bleed, begin pumping the brake pedal continuously with steady applies every 2 seconds. That's if you have somebody on the brake pedal. We've got the pressure bleeder, so we don't need to do that. So I'm just going to click OK, which is F3. It's going to load the data. Open the right rear bleeder screw, continue to pump the brake pedal. And you can see it flowing. So we're just going to allow that to flow. You can see the bubbles from the tube going in. Now we're going to come over and tell this thing that we did that by pressing F3. And while it's loading, I'm just going to go check to make sure that's still bleeding and that we still have pressure in this bottle. Which we do. I'm going to have to pump it up a little bit here pretty soon. Now it says to stop pumping the brake pedal and close the right rear bleeder screw. So it's oscillated the spool over there in the ABS module, and now it wants us to close the screw. And that wheel should be done. I'm just going to close that up. Once again, just like before in my other video, when you close this and it feels like it's closed, make sure your wrench isn't just hitting your brake line and you think it's closed when really you're just butting up against that. Okay, so that is done. Now you can still hear the ABS module running. That's because it's wanting us to go to the other wheel. When the second one was done in the front, that stopped and gave me time to set up the rear. So I'm just going to move this over to this one. Press it on there. And I don't have to worry about the module. I'm just bleeding out that little bit from one side of the caliper to the other. That's enough. It doesn't take much to do this side, the outboard. Now that I got that wiped with brake cleaner, I just wanted to make sure that those are tight. I went over both of them, put that rubber cap back on. Now we're going to go over to that wheel. So we're still seeing this on the display, asking us to stop bleeding the right rear. Just going to hit F3, OK. Prepare to bleed air from the left rear. When ready to start, begin pumping. We're already doing that. But I'm going to make sure that I have 30 pounds in there. I'm going to hit F3. And you heard it just click over. Open the left rear bleeder screw. Continue pumping the brake pedal. So we already have our bottle. I had to dump some of it. And we're going to come over here. You could hear that shuttle move in the ABS control module. And there we go. Those little bubbles there is just from the line. So far I haven't seen any bubbles come out of the system. it's modulating that back and forth, getting any air out of the ABS module and sending it to this wheel. Make sure my pressure's good on my tank. It's okay. Get it back up to 30. And this car seems to like 30 pounds. Okay. Procedure complete. Stop pumping the brake pedal, close the left rear bleeder screw. And that we will do right now. So it is actually still pushing fluid out because my pressure bleeder still has pressure in it. Now I'm going to get my paper towel because that's going to be messy and I don't want it on my caliper. Okay. And I'm just going to bleed this side real quick. And that's it. Take this off, wipe it down with some brake clean, little rubber caps back on, put the wheels on, and road test it. Well, I wanted to show you the scan tool, a little more about the tool. I know the bleeding part of the video was pretty quick. It wasn't much different than doing a regular bleed on the car, except you use this. So I don't know all these things. This isn't a touch screen. I kind of wish it was, but it's not. You can kind of see the blue square jumping around there. Supplemental, oh, that's steering. That's the steering one. ABS and airbag down there for update. I don't know what all these do, but when I wanted to do the ABS and airbag, I selected it, and then I select for America because that's where I'm at, and I go down to GM, and it asks for smart VIN, so I can do that and it will pull up the VIN of the car. There it is. So is that VIN right? Yes, it's a 2014 Camaro. Electronic brake control module or inflatable restraint sensing and diagnostic module. Well, we're not working on the airbags. So electronic brake control. I'm not quite sure what those are. Saying something about front seat heating on this version, control module version. I don't know what that means because the front seating has nothing to do with the ABS that I know of. I just selected not equipped. And then I went down and selected the LSA engine. And this is when it loaded it. Diagnostic trouble codes, identification information, data display, control functions is where you go to start it. And here you can actually test the ABS solenoid valves individually. It'll ask you if the wheel is tight or if you can free spin it. We're not doing those. It can also test traction control solenoid valves, the ABS motor, which you can turn on or off. That's on. That's off. And you can go back. And the automated brake bleed. And when you select that, it's going to tell you to connect the battery charger and make sure the transmission is in park or neutral. Procedure will begin with the left front wheel. When ready to start, the left front wheel begin pumping the brake. Well, we had the power bleeder on there, so we didn't have to do that. And then hit OK. Now it's telling us to go to the left front wheel. Well, I've already done that. So if you do this and you want to cancel, you'll notice it doesn't cancel. What you can do is come to the ABS pump motor, select that, and tell it to turn off. And just back out of it. I don't know if this is going to make the cut in editing, but I don't know how well you can see that display. Diagnostic trouble codes, DTC display, system pass, no fault found, F3, back, configuration reset, we don't want to mess with that. Lateral acceleration, yaw rate signal. So apparently you can have this connected while the car is running. I have not done that. I do not know all the ins and out of this thing, so if you get this, the only reason I got it was to be able to modulate that anti-lock brake system to get the air out. Fortunate for me, there wasn't any air in it. I thought there might have been, but looks like everything was okay. Well, it looks like I have a little bit of a mess to clean up. Don't save your brake fluid, throw it out. Even if it's brand new in there, it'll just absorb water out of the air and it's not going to be any good. I'm going to clean this all up with a little bit of alcohol and dry it all out for the next time I need to bleed brakes. And torque my wheels and go out for a little drive, make sure everything on the car is good, and then we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for stopping by.